Again, this is the webinar to go over the new monthly and closeout reporting process that will be transitioning from Submittable and the platform that you're used to into the Department of Commerce grant portal. And I wanted to just take a minute and kind of give a high level understanding of why the process is changing, because I know sometimes, change can be difficult. And I think hopefully that we have made this as smooth as possible. It's going to be the same basic process as what you are used to in Submittable. So you'll just be logging into a new platform. But the process is still going to include in our new grant portal, this will be where applications are submitted, and then where everyone will do post-award reporting as well as closeout reporting. The benefits to applicants as well as KOBD and the greater commerce team is that this is going to allow for consistency across programs. So applicants and awardees will know what to expect and become familiar with the portal and how to navigate through it. And not each program will be completely different, and some in Submittable and some not. So I think there's going to be a lot of benefit for individuals as we move forward in this process. Also, there's going to be some efficiency achievements on the back end. I think one of the big things is that we will have the ability to link reporting and reimbursements payments directly to awarded applications. That not going to be as notable for your applications, for your awards, simply because most of you, I think, that are on this call probably applied through Submittable, but that is one of the future-looking efficiencies that we are achieving with this change. And then just transparency as well. We do a lot of reporting out to the Kansas legislature and other stakeholders. The Department of Commerce has a public transparency database that can be accessed through our website. And so this will also allow for a smoother transition of that data between the grant portal and the public-facing transparency database. So a lot of good things will happen, I think, because of this process change. But again, going to speak directly now to how that will impact you specifically in your reporting requirements. A high-level overview of the process, how it works, and then when to start this. Basically, you will log into the KDC grant portal, and then you're going to select the reporting module, and then you'll click on a broadband reporting icon. You'll select the organization that you are reporting on behalf of, select the program that you're reporting for, whether that be Adopt, Doc, Link, or one of our broadband acceleration grant programs. And then there's a handful of required questions that you'll complete. You'll upload the required files and then basically click Submit. So it's, again, very similar to what you're used to and should be a smooth transition. The first date that we're going to ask you to start using the new grant portal is going to be the submission that you submit to us on April 5th, that's due April 5th of 2026. Now I am going to jump into the demo, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so I can transfer to that, and then I will share it again. So give me just a second, please. Before I get started on this, just want to also share that we will have a user guide available that will walk you step by step through the process of creating an account in the new portal, linking your user account to a business account, which needs to be done for anyone that hasn't already done that. And then how to actually access the reporting module and go through the steps to get your reports submitted. I will make that available here within the next few days, and that'll be also published on our website along with the recording of this call. So the link that to the portal was in the slides that will also be published, but I will also be sending that out to everybody in an email here soon. So when you get to this login page, if you already have credentials for our grant portal, you'll just enter those and click login. Again, just like most logins, if you have forgotten your username or password, there are options here to click on to help you get that information. If you have not been in this grant portal thus far, you will need to click on this need to register and go through that process. That initial process will set you up with a user account. And then if your organization has submitted other grants through our portal and is already established here, then you'll just have to take a step to link your user account to that organization's account. If not, then you'll need to actually create the organization account and link your user account to it. Again, step-by-step instructions will be provided, and once we're done here with the demo of getting in and going through the reporting, I also have some screens and I can walk through the steps to create the account as well if folks want to, if we have time and folks want to stay on the call for that. So, and also understand that, you know, we are here to help you as much as possible. If you have problems, there are resources. You can always email this kdc_salesforce.admin@ks.gov. That goes directly to our Salesforce team, which is the platform that this grant portal is built in, and they can help you with login problems as well. You can also email our kdc_broadband@ks.gov. And we will reach back out in response and get you help. We know that this is, you know, something new that a little unknown, so we will absolutely help as much as possible. And the way I have this set up, I'm going to switch screens as we kind of advance through the process. So again, the next screen that you're going to see is where you're going to land once you hit the login button. This is the home screen for our grant portal. There is, you know, the home button up here. If you click on something else and get to a different module or part, you can always see this home screen and come back to this particular screen. These are the different, what I call modules that are in the system here. This front page where you're going to land is always going to be the grants. And so that is where you'll see icons for existing grants that are accepting applications. And then there's these other areas. And what you want to concentrate on for this purpose is this reporting option. And so you will click on reporting to get into that module. When you land on reporting, it's going to be have changed to blue here with an underline, and then you're going to look for broadband reporting icon. We are calling it broadband reporting because all of our programs, with the exception of just one, are going to begin reporting through this process. And so that's what you'll look for. You'll click on this Learn More and Report button. When you do that, it's going to take you to the main screen for broadband reporting. Just the description over here that tells you folks who have our digital opportunities, either adopt or dock, or infrastructure grants, BAG or link, are all going to be using this portal to submit their monthly reports and then project closeout reports. And that goes whether you have Adopt 1 or 2 or Doc 1 or 2 or Bag, I think 3, 4, and then we're just starting 5. So to start a report, then you're going to click on the Report Now button. What you will see when you do that is this screen that pops up, and it has some information on here where it's going to ask you, make sure your contact information is correct for your profile. It also reminds you that this creates a new report, if you've already started one and saved it but have not submitted it, it'll direct you to another area to access that. It's going to tell you that when you get down here to select your organization, if you don't see it here in the pick list of organizations, then that means that your user account hasn't been linked, and you need to add an account relationship. And then this is a hyperlink that you can click on that will take you to that process. And so you just kind of want to read through this. It'll tell you that the people who are not eligible to use this are entities that were awarded as individual person accounts. And I apologize, it looks like we've missed a thing in the testing, because nonprofit, government, and tribal entities are all supposed to use this. So I will get that fixed. So really the only people that should not be using this is somebody who had applied for assistance through Commerce as an individual person, which will not apply to any of you. So when you get to this, you're going to choose your organization. For me, I'll select KOB Demo. And then down here under Commerce Programs, this will display just the Commerce Programs. Right now, it is not doing that because I'm in the test environment. But when we get this live and you're actually doing it, it's just going to be limited to those programs that I mentioned earlier. So you will scroll through the list and select either Advancing Digital Opportunities, the Adopt program. If you have one of the Bag 3 or 4 programs, you'll select Broadband. And this, I will say there's a typo here. It says Broadband Accelerator Grant Bag. That is what you'll select for Bag grants. And then DOC will be listed down here under Digital Opportunities to connect Kansans. And then if we have anyone on here with link, you would just keep scrolling down and look for the lasting infrastructure and network connectivity. So you're going to select one of those and then click Next. When you do that, there will be this next pop-up window where it's going to pull up the organization's information. We want you to look at that, make sure it's accurate. Again, then if that is all accurate and it's the right organization, you're going to select yes. If it for some reason is not, you want to select no, and then we'll have to go back and work through that add account relationship to make sure or troubleshoot why your organization may not be coming up. So again, if you get to that point and you have a problem, please reach out to us and we'll work to get you through that. So I'll select yes. Then you'll scroll down and here's where you will select the type of report that you're doing. We're going to demo the monthly reporting today, but the closeout reporting is very similar to that. So you'd select month. You're going to enter the date that the report is due. For this example, since you're going to be submitting in April, we'd select April 5th, 2026. Then you're going to type in the name of your project. And this should match or closely align with the project name that you used in your application that was awarded. And because we are having multiple programs report here, and especially since we have the Adopt 1 and 2 and Doc 1 and 2, we do want to make sure for you folks and the BAG folks as well that you start that project name always with whichever program it was that you're reporting on. Then we have worked in some functionality here so that if the awarded application was submitted through this grant portal, and you were the user that submitted that application, you should see the application show up here under reporting information. If it does, you want to select and put a little check mark in the box that'll be beside the application ID. And this goes to back when I mentioned the linking the application to the report and to the reimbursement requests and that information. The majority of you are not going to see anything appear here because your applications were done in Submittable, and that is fine. That's expected. What you'll need to do is just come down here and in the question found your individual application number due for reporting. If you did, great. Again, select yes. If you didn't, then you select this option, didn't find, continue with create report. So there's no reason that you cannot submit a report just because an application ID doesn't show up. And then once that is all filled in, click the next button. From there, you're going to land on the main screen where you're going to start your report. And a couple things that I want to point out here. You're going to see that it will have named it that this is a monthly report and assigned a 3-digit number there. It also is going to set the report status to draft. It has one section to the report because it's all in one screen. And so, and this section is required. So to get started, you would click on the start button here. From there, it's going to take you to the grant reporting form. And this is where you're going to start entering some information. The recipient name, well, let me back up here. The fields that are marked with a red asterisk are required. So you will need to fill all of those in. And I will tell you that is the majority of questions on this form. If you don't have information in a field and you try to submit, or it's going to come up and it's going to change that field to this red border and tell you that there's an error because there's no information in there. So I'm going to go ahead and type in this. It does ask you for a tax year. Again, because we are standardizing this as much as possible across all commerce programs, that is one field that the Department of Commerce is putting in every report now. So you'll just enter that. And then it's going to have carried forward the project name and the award. Well, no, excuse me. You will need to enter the amount of your award here. So then on the address, you'll enter that. There is a little bit of some odd programming here, I guess, that I want to call out specifically because it can be a little confusing. Right now, you'll see that I have this error that says you must select the city, zip code, or county displayed. So when you are entering these 3 fields, and I've already done the city and zip code to save a little time, so I'll show you on the county. As you begin to type, you're going to see a blue line start advancing across the bottom of this field. And then you'll start seeing a list that shows up. And as you type it's going to narrow that down to your exact choice. Or if there are multiple things and you see your option in that list, go ahead and select it. But you do have to actually select this from the drop down. And if you don't, you're going to get that error that I just had, and you're not going to be able to submit your report. And I'm going to take out the zip code and just show that as an example too. So as I type, it's going to bring up a list. And so I can either finish typing or I can scroll down and select the correct zip code. Here you're going to enter the monthly report period, and this is going to be the month and year the report is due. So, for example, this report is due April 5th, so you're going to put April 2026. Then it's going to ask you if you're requesting reimbursement or not. You're going to answer yes or no. If you do answer yes, it's going to ask you to enter the amount of the reimbursement that you are requesting. And then here's just sort of a attestation, I guess, that I believe we had in Submittable, so you should be used to that. And it's asking if the expenditures or payroll that you are requesting reimbursement have already been paid by the organization, and you'll just select yes or no. Here you can select or enter the date that you're going to submit your report. And then it's going to ask you to enter the amount of grant expenditures that you are reporting for this period. It's also going to ask you to enter the amount of match expenditures that you're reporting. Section 3 is certification. In these gray boxes, you're going to see that information from your user account will have already auto-populated here. So all you'll need to do in this section then is enter the certification date, which should be, again, the same as the submitted date. And then click this checkbox by the statement that I certify that the documents and data provided in this monthly report are true to the best of my knowledge. Also, I understand that my organization is responsible for maintaining all accurate records of expenditures. Now you're down to the file uploads, which is the last portion of the report. The expenditure documentation and the monthly progress report are the two required files that you have to upload each month. And then you also have the option under the supplemental documents to provide us any project highlight documentation. There's a couple of different file upload options there. And then there's another one that's just kind of a catch-all for if there's any other project information that you want to share with us. I've already uploaded one document, but I will walk through the process for how you do upload here. You're going to click the upload file button. From here, you can either click upload file, which will take you so that you can select a file off of your desktop or File Explorer, or you could just drag the file here and drop it here in this box, and then, oops, let me go, and then click save. I am going to go grab a file here. So it's taken me there. It'll take a minute for it to upload. When it is complete, you'll see that it has done and a green check mark, so you can click done. Then you'll see that document populate right here. At this point, if you realize you have an incorrect document, you can delete that by clicking on this little trash can icon, and then you just repeat the process to upload the correct file. Once you have the file, click save. And then it's going to show you that the document here is uploaded, and it's going to have changed that button to replace file. So you'll see that I've already done that up here under the expenditure documentation. If you want to view or download that document to look at it, you can click on this option right here, view or download. Once you are completely done and ready to submit, you just scroll down. You can click on this submit button. If you get interrupted and you're not ready to submit while you're working on this, there is a save for later button that is visible anywhere you are on the screen. So you can just click down here and say save for later. And then here in a minute, I'll show you how to access that and reopen it and complete it. For this one, I am going to go ahead and click submit. When you do that, it is going to take you back to this main screen, and you're going to see a couple of changes or a change here. It's going to show that the section status is completed. It's also going to show report status is submitted. You're no longer going to have a button to continue or do any editing of this report. You do have a button to view the report. I'm going to click on that and it will bring up a view of your report. And so you will be able to see your questions and answers, the files that you uploaded. So you'll be able to view all of that information from here. If you want to print this, you can right click and hit print, and then save it or print it as a PDF, whatever you would like to do. And then if you want to go back to your previous screen, you just click that button here. Now, if you have saved it for later and you log in, you will again land on this home screen. When you log in, instead of going to reporting, you're going to look up here and you're going to find the option for my reporting, and you're going to click on that. This is going to show all reports that you have that are in progress and all of them that have been submitted. Again, if you click on the submitted one, it's going to take you back to that screen that we just looked at, where you can view it. If you open one that is in progress, so this is what it would look like. It would show, you'd come back to this main screen and it's going to have the continue button here. And if you click on that, you're going to go into it again. Just pick up where you left off, fill out whatever information was still missing, and then click the submit button. Or if you get interrupted again, you can still save it for later and then just continue that process until such time as you are actually ready to submit it. So I think I saw maybe some questions popping up when I was talking, and I want to make sure we get to those. Let's see here. Let me scroll up here. Okay, it looks like there's some note takers in here. Katrina asked, is this the same program as Perkins for the Department of Ed? No, it's not. I don't know I'm not familiar with Perkins, and it might be in the same platform of Salesforce. I don't know for sure, but this is the Department of Commerce's internal grant portal that they created just for commerce programs. Let's see. And then there's another question, can the submission be modified once it's submitted? You are not able to modify a submitted report unless KOBD takes the action on our side to return it to you for revisions. And basically that will reopen it so that you can then go in and make the changes that you need. And so I know that when we're reviewing it, if we find something that is incorrect or that, then we will go ahead and return it to you for revisions. You will get an automated email, and it will tell you in that email what it is that needs to be revised. More than likely, there will also be some outreach, via email, because there may be some conversations about what is incorrect or something that need to occur before we get to that point. If you submit and then realize that there's something, maybe you just realized you uploaded the wrong report or something like that, or didn't upload the invoices or something correctly, then you can just reach out to us, and then we will go ahead and return it for revisions and reopen it for you. So I think that process is very similar to how it works now in Submittable. I would ask, if you need to do that, that you email us at kdc_broadband@ks.gov, so that we are sure to get that in a timely manner and can get that taken care of and reopened for you. We have, our Widow Bryan's folks that are helping with, the consultants there helping with some of the reviews. But we're making some changes with that. So I think at this point in time, instead of directly reaching out to a single person that, may or may not be in the office, it's probably best to reach out to that general inbox for KOBD, and then we'll get that to the correct person and make sure that you're aware that that's being worked on. Okay, and then are we able to add other people to the report like we did in Submittable? Not at this point in our platform. Each user has to have their own account. However, I will say that the workaround that we have encountered for that, in terms of when people are submitting applications, is that they just share that person's login. So if someone has started the report and then somebody else needs to finish it, it has to be done under one person's login. They can't both log in under their own user account and work on the same report. I think that is on our wish list of functionality. We just don't have it yet. Okay, on previous reporting, we had the expenditure spreadsheet, and then we uploaded invoices. Could we add invoices under the monthly progress report or under additional project information? So the way that you'll upload that is your invoices, proof of payment, that documentation would be uploaded under expenditure documentation. And then the progress report template with the list of that's the Excel document, that's going to go under monthly progress report. If you mentioned the expenditure documentation is required, but what if we don't have expenditures during the reporting month? In that instance, just upload just like a single sheet of paper that says, no invoices or no expenditure documentation. That will get you around that requirement. So I think I have answered all. Okay, let's see. Are we limited to the number of items, documents we can upload like we were in Submittable? So I am going to need to take that back, and I will clarify that when I send out the information with the user guide and everything, because we have the ability to where you can upload multiple documents, but what I want to make sure is and clarify as we are still doing just a little bit of testing before this goes live. And what I want to make sure is if you upload multiple documents, it doesn't override what was already there. And so I think right now I'm going to say that it's likely that you'll need to put like all of your invoices and everything in a single PDF file when you upload it. But I, again, am going to verify that, and I will absolutely clarify that for you ahead of time. All right. Any other questions? And if you want to come off mute and ask them as opposed to putting them in chat, that is fine as well. And yes, zipped files are absolutely fine. Yes. As I said, we are still doing just a little bit of testing before this goes live. A couple little things to clean up with that drop-down list and things. So I will send out notification to everyone as soon as it is live and ready to go. I'm hoping that that will be within the next few days. So that I know some people like to get started on entering information ahead of time. So trying to get that ready for you just as quickly as possible. One more question. Is the tax year the year our grant was awarded, or it would be the current tax year that we're in? So may or may not be the one that it was awarded in, or the one it will be completed in. But for most of you, I think, especially Doc and Adopt, I know those are to be completed this year, so it would be 2026. Are others about to be added to the report as in Submittable? Are others able to be added to the report? Is that, are you asking about, is that going back to whether multiple people can work in the same report? You can come off mute if you want to. Okay, yeah. So the only way in our system right now that you can do that is to have the other individuals, everybody would have to sign in under the same person's login. So that's the only workaround that we have right now. So Austin, if you signed in and started a report and then you wanted, one of your coworkers to finish it, they would not be able to access what you started unless they logged in under your login. Again, we understand that's not ideal, and that's on our list of future functionality. Should the county field be the entity's county or the county served? That is supposed to be the entity's county. Can all users of the same entity see all the reports submitted? Again, that's not functionality that we currently have. So if the report was created and submitted under your ID, your login, you'll be able to see it, but the rest of your coworkers would not be able to see it unless they logged in under that user's account information. All right. I know we are, well, I guess we have, about 15 minutes left, I think, in our time. So if folks would like, I will kind of walk through for a lot of you the account creation, unless there are more questions around actually completing the form and submitting it. And if you know you already have an account, and you want to watch that, stay on and watch, that's perfectly fine. If you want to hop off, that is fine as well. We will, again, just to remind and reiterate that we will share this recording as soon as it's available and send out notification to everyone with that link. Okay. So for creating an account, again, when you come to this login page, you're going to click Need to Register. When you do that, it's going to bring up another screen. Tells you a little bit about what the password requirements are, and then when you're ready to go ahead and register, you'll click that registration button. Then on the pop-up, you only need to fill in the fields that are required with the red asterisk. Put in that information. I will say that if you're creating an account, you're always going to want to select that you are, for KOBD programs, that you are applying on behalf of a business, and not that you're applying as yourself. And excuse me, I know the word applying there is probably a little bit misleading, but that is essentially if you're setting up a user account in order to apply for, complete an application or now do the monthly reporting that we're transitioning here. Then you'll enter your email and the name of the legal name of the organization that you will be, that you are affiliated with. From there, once you hit the next, it is going to tell you that your account was created successfully, and you will get an automated email that will give you information about setting your password. And then once you have your, I'll back up here and say this, you might have to check your spam or junk folders because it will come from this KDC SF no reply email address, and that has, we know at times, been caught in people's spam filters. So if you don't get an email, be sure and check there first. And if you still have not received an email, then please go ahead and reach out to this kdc_salesforce.admin@ks.gov. That logging in, creating an account, those are the types of functions that have to go through our Salesforce team in our IT department. That's not something that one of us at KOBD have the ability to fix for you. So you are welcome to copy us on that email, and we can make sure that that you get the assistance that you need. But the Salesforce team is very good about responding back quickly to those type of requests. And so once you've gotten this screen, you just click finish, and then it's going to bring you back to this page. But if you land here, and then you're going to go check your email, set up your password, and then if you still have this screen up when you come back, you can click here that you already have an account, or you can just click the main login link and come back to this main page to enter your credentials and log in. So that is all that I have for you today. Thank you, Ben, for putting that link to the grant portal in this in our chat here. I appreciate that. Does anyone else have any questions? You're welcome, Brenda. Again, if you run into, I would encourage most of you to try to go in and create your account and get that set up as soon as possible, just so you don't run into any issues, or if you do, there's time to resolve those before you get real close to the deadline for submitting the reports. You can get that one step out of the way. And again, if you run into any problems, please feel free to email the Salesforce team or KOBD, and we will help get you through that. We can, if you run into any problems when you are getting ready to submit the report, please feel free to reach out to us. We can absolutely hop on a quick call if we need to, or do whatever we can to troubleshoot and get everybody to where they can submit their reports. Looks like we have a question. Zulma?
Hi, just want to come offline and ask one
Yeah.
question in case somebody was thinking it. Is there a capability that allows budget revisions through the portal at this time?
Not at this time,
Okay.
but that is one of the things, again, that's on my wish list for functionality. Yes. So hopefully, eventually, we will be able to do the change request process with budget revisions and that type of thing through the portal as well. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. I hope that this does not look too cumbersome or overwhelming, and appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and stay in touch if you run into any issues. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.